Welcome back to the Layman's Law School. Today we are going to have a year-in review since the end of 2025 is coming up. We thought it would be fun to revisit some of our more popular cases that we've chatted about in the past year.
Has time flown?
I know. And most of these that we're going to chat about, there's actually been some, it's kind of like I wanted to be like, where are they now? What's happening now? Because some that we discussed have had settlements. Some that we discussed have got a whole lot more going on. And of course, we would be remiss if we did not discuss everyone's favorite case, Karen Read.
Karen Read.
So this is going to be part one of a two-part special episode series.
Well, we'll see.
To take us through the end of the year.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
So, but first,
how you have to do this, Chase. It doesn't matter if it's day one or day 1,000.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress.
And physical. And physical.
Yeah. There's physical and
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Friday.
Right.
courage.
It's
I love
good.
how we both go, here you go.
So good. Yeah, he always just hands it over and puts it
Well,
on the side.
like Sean
But I
hooked
just
me
at
up with
least
a
make
high noon
him.
today. And
Yeah.
I mean, I got a whole setup
I
in
don't
here.
blame him. I
with
don't blame you. I
limes.
just
It's very fancy.
You know.
All right. Well, I think there's no better way to kick this off, obviously, than to talk about Karen Read.
Ugh.
So I want to see. We're gonna take a little trip down memory lane as well, though, during this episode.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
When you asked, hey, just try and figure out what was your favorite episode of the year. I kind of got bogged down. Like sometimes I thought like the only thing we did was Karen Read. Like what other episodes did we have?
Yeah.
Well, and to be fair, this is a great moment, I think, too, to thank particularly our YouTube subscribers, because due to the popularity of those episodes. So this episode that I'm going to play a clip of is actually our highest performing video. It was the very first time we talked about Karen Read.
Oh,
I was
wow.
actually not on the show, but I was in the room.
Okay.
I was in the background.
Common denominator.
And so this has been our best performing video.
Yeah, the old studio.
Yeah.
Look how young I look. Yeah.
I have a dead person in my yard. What are you supposed to do? I mean, do you hand that off?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run because I don't want to be involved with you and a dead body whatsoever. But it's kind of a thing that depends on the situation and the severity of it.
right?
All right. So if you're not familiar with the Karen Read case, I find that highly unlikely if you're watching this video on our channel.
Very true.
But just a quick background on it. In January 2022, Boston police officer John O'Keefe was found dead in the snow in Canton, Massachusetts. His girlfriend Karen Read was accused of hitting him with her SUV and leaving him to die. The defense's theory was that O'Keefe was killed inside the house by fellow officers and Karen Read was framed. The first trial ended in a hung jury and a mistrial in July of 2024. The second trial happened this year, starting in April and went through June. And at that point, the verdict came back, and Karen Read was found not guilty of second-degree murder, manslaughter, or leaving the scene, but she was found guilty of operating under the influence. Her sentence was 1 year probation, standard for a first-time OUI.
Who predicted that exact verdict?
I happen to
That was
have
on
a
the
clip.
second
You
one.
might have to have.
That was on the second one, though.
We happen to have a clip of our predictions, our verdicts.
I don't
predictions.
necessarily remember, but I'm pretty sure that it might have been.
Exactly.
Well, let's watch and see.
If the jury follows the law, they will acquit Karen Read
I
on all charges.
100% agree because
Yeah.
it's a reasonable doubt,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of reasonable doubts. You can't even prove there was a collision.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder, I think that she's innocent. Unfortunately, I think that there's a chance that she will be found guilty. I think that she will be found guilty of the charge where intoxicated and
Lesser included.
I'm not saying she's innocent. I wasn't there. I don't know. But the evidence presented is not enough.
My prediction will be that she will either be found not guilty of everything, or if they allowed, which I don't know if they allowed any type of just DUI charge. Right. I really don't think that she did anything.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to him, but I don't think that the injuries that he received
Or consistent
are
at all.
consistent at all with her striking him.
I think her behavior is more like someone who got really drunk
Okay.
Well, you know,
Sean.
That's what we do.
I give you
Winner's
half
corner.
credit though, because you said you qualified it. Anytime you qualify a prediction, you're like, well, it's either gonna
This
be
or this.
this or
You
this.
made
Well,
two
yeah,
predictions.
two predictions.
I didn't
That's
have
like saying it's either gonna
190
be red or black.
I didn't have
Well, yeah, it
190
can land on green, but it's probably gonna be red
I
or
did
black.
not have 190 hours of research into
Nor
the
did
case like Chase did. So I didn't even know if DUI was a charge that was on the
It wasn't.
Indictment.
OUI was.
Neither.
or
Yeah,
operating under the
It's
influence,
OUI out
whatever the
there.
case.
Anyway, I
But
think it was a
I knew
fantastic
that there
job
was
done by
sufficient
all.
evidence for that. You know, after she was like, "Yeah,"
Well, after she admitted it.
yeah,
Like,
I had a vodka drink. I had 2 shots. I had 5 vodka
Could have been
drinks.
4.
I had,
Could have been 5.
Well,
I don't know.
and this
Maybe
could have
9.
been
depends on
13.
how they were making it. They were making them kind of
Listen.
strong.
And this is
They weren't making them strong enough.
The
Was
problem
the issue.
with television and podcasts. We don't know if this prediction was done for the first or second trial. We don't know.
Yes, we do.
We haven't yet.
We have the person in the room who posts the
well,
stuff.
I'm just saying this could be all. This
AI
is just
generated?
yeah. We don't know. I don't trust it at all.
So we
Fake
of course have sort of closed the chapter on our Karen Reed coverage.
Thank God.
But
Yeah, I mean, we
but
talked about it so much. We sort of but
the chapter in the cases is not closed.
No.
I know that.
she's so basically this week, in fact, because today is November the 21st.
Correct.
And so this episode will probably air a little bit later on. But so this past week, though, however, Karen Reed is kind of like Oprah, where she's like, "You're getting sued. You're getting sued. Everybody's getting sued." And she has basically put a lawsuit filed against former state police trooper Michael Proctor, Sergeant Buchanan. I think we messed that one. I think I messed that one up last time. Brian Tully, Lieutenant Brian Tully, and several Canton residents, including, no surprise
What
here,
about the McCabe's?
the McCabe's, the Alberts,
Yeah.
and Brian Higgins.
And I believe they have a claim against her for wrongful death. I mean, this is going to continue.
The O'Keefe
Defamation.
Yeah, the O'Keefe
Yeah.
family has a wrongful death case against Karen Reed as well. So what I want to ask is, how is a civil lawsuit going to be different than what we just saw with the criminal case? Particularly, I think that we just watched her be on trial and they'll go through this in a matter of months.
Yeah.
When in reality, a wrongful death case, that's not going to happen as quickly.
I'll
right?
start it. How about that? So the answer to that is there's going to be no similarities at all. I mean, it's almost night and day. It's still court and it's still a lawsuit and all that, but
Certainly
how
not
you
as much
present it-
court.
Yeah, but I'm saying as far as a trial, the civil trial, if they get there, is completely different. What you have to prove is completely different. How the attorneys are going to approach it is completely different. It just is. It's apples and oranges, and so I think this is going to continue a long time. Probably will get resolved before a trial because there's so much testimony already that they can use for mediations, and it may come to some kind of arbitration. Who knows? But I don't think there's going to be another trial for at least there may be a trial on the severity of the punishment for the officers that we've seen come up and have some. But as far as like Karen Reed either being sued or Karen Reed suing somebody, I don't think there'll be another trial on that civilly. I think there's so much testimony that you can resolve that, like I said, with
You should be able to.
Yeah, you should. But that's just kind of my prediction on that part. But I hadn't. I to be completely honest, I hadn't been as involved or followed it like we, were when we were really involved with it.
Well, and the sad thing is like, these lawsuits are for, what are they expecting to procure? If you are suing Karen Reed individually,
Sure.
well, obviously, maybe she has some assets as a result of all of this, type thing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she spent the majority of it on 2 trials.
On her criminal
You
defense,
know, I mean,
Well,
there's
and
a lot of articles about that she's
with some
wrote.
proper legal planning, I'm sure that things could have been, put in a trust that would be, prevent that from being able to be touched through any wrong. It's like, okay, we found in favor for you. You got to $10 million verdict against Karen Reed. If she has
Right.
no assets, she has no assets.
Yeah.
And, that's things that, real
Those are
lawyers have to look
practical,
at and
yes.
talk to clients and say, hey, yes,
I can get you a judge.
we've got
I
a
mean,
winning case.
Yeah.
But we're going to spend, $10,000 and we're going to be in the hole $10,000 at the end because we're never going to get a penny.
Well, that's why I think it won't be a trial, is because of that. Is like all these kind of cases now, from my understanding, I mean, they're going to be really individual kind of thing, and we talk about it all the time. Your insurance isn't going to cover for intentional acts and all this other stuff. It's going to be rare that, and the limits on it are going to be low. Anyway, that all being said, I just don't think it'll be a trial because of that. Because if you get a judgment or a verdict, all you're really doing is just going to the press and going, I got a $10 million verdict. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's recovering anything. Like, I don't know.
So let me ask you this. So as of right now, I believe that the Alberts, the McCabe's, and Brian Higgins all share the same lawyer.
Okay.
Is-
For their case against Karen Reed?
I think period.
They
I
wouldn't
don't
have a
know.
case against Karen Reed for wrongful death.
Well, I'm
people.
sorry. I'm sorry, you're
I
right.
think- Well, I don't
There's
know.
so many cases.
I know.
They're,
I know, and I'm sure we'll get corrected in the
Yeah.
comments. So
Yeah.
don't
But
worry
then
about it.
there's-
They'll tell
let
us.
us know. I mean,
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
there's state cases against them.
We've
too,
said many a
so-
times, we actually work for a living as full-time lawyers, and we
Yeah.
try to,
Well,
keep
we hadn't
abreast.
been on top of the Karen Reed in a little bit. I've just
Yeah.
known.
So by all means, yes, we welcome the
I was
comments.
kind of thankful. And Lindsay brings it back up.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I could not
And
mention
I
it for
said
the
the,
year
I
in
said
review.
the state, so I apologize. I meant the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
But I guess my thing is that I don't know that I would think it was strategic to all have the same lawyer if you were all like this is going after all of them to point out that they covered up, that they they framed her.
I think
right?
it's fair to have the same lawyer because if it's still stemming from the same facts and
They're all lying about the same thing.
Yeah, I mean it depends on what the charges are against you as far as civilly and all that. But if you're taking the defense of that, we did nothing, we weren't involved at all, none of us were involved at all, then I think it's fair to have a one attorney
stick together.
represent.
So-
yeah.
See, and I'm going to be the exact opposite
Yeah.
if I was ever in that situation.
I'm not saying what I would do.
I'm blaming it
I'm
on
not-
you.
Yeah.
I'm blaming it on you. I want my own attorney. I don't know who did anything, but
I
it wasn't
agree.
me, and
Yeah.
it was probably her, him, and him.
Says the former criminal defense
Hey,
attorney.
I will say this: I would 100% have my own attorney, but they still have to work in connection and work
Yep.
with all the attorneys that are on the defense side.
Sure.
Just like the case that I just tried, there was 2 defendants, and they even striking a jury. The defense team, even though they're representing 2 different people, they have this. They have the same amount of strikes as the plaintiff has, so they have to work together at some point to even do that little part. So, but I agree with you, Sean. If it was me personally, I would have my own attorney.
Well, and the only problem, the realistic problem why you try to avoid that, at least as an attorney, is because facts change, circumstances change, evidence develops. And when you start out, like Reed said, under this, we're all in the same position, therefore we can have one attorney. We had nothing to do with this. And then all of a sudden, no, Lindsay, this comes out in evidence, or this is produced.
Let's use Brian Higgins as an example. That's
Brian
true,
Higgins.
okay?
I was
That's
thinking
who
about.
I would want to be
I was thinking
connected
about
to, 'cause I think
our little
he's-
group right here.
Yeah.
But then that lawyer is conflicted.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I now represent people that I have a ethical, moral, legal obligation to advocate for against this person who's also my own client. Then you have to say, sorry, I'm out. I can't.
As long as
be
everybody's
involved,
in the same line, like the
said
sheep
the same
going
line?
to line.
Oh,
I
thought you said the same
like,
line.
yeah, well, that too. As long as everybody's going the same way, but like Sean
rowing
said,
our
if
boat
it
the same way.
doesn't,
I got
then that's where problems exist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot
And
of
Chase was
times,
gonna say something.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Chase.
No, I was just going to say if you're trying to distinguish between what is the biggest difference between a civil trial when you're suing somebody for wrongful death and when you're actually trying to convict them of a crime of actually murdering somebody, the biggest difference is the standard of proof required.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And who actually brings the suit. So in a criminal issue, it's always the state that actually
Or the
brings
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
Chase. We've already been through this.
The Commonwealth that brings in Massachusetts, the Commonwealth that brings it, and they
When
have
you're one of the first states of the union, you get to call yourself whatever you want, and they prefer the Commonwealth.
well, okay, the
As we have been
Commonwealth for
well
Massachusetts,
told.
From what we've been told.
right? And you have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, and that was the sticking issue for a lot of, I think, the jurors here. And but under a civil case where the damages or what can happen to you if you're being sued, it doesn't involve your liberty. It doesn't involve putting you in jail. It just involves money damages. And for that, the standard of proof is is basically a preponderance of the evidence. And
What
the
is preponderance of the evidence?
Sure. The easiest way to say
51%.
that. Exactly. It is
Or
more,
50.1%.
more likely than not. It is more likely than not that she caused John O'Keefe's death. That's all they have to prove in order to recover under these circumstances. And I can understand why they're doing it. We mentioned the trust, the ways in which Karen Reed can try and protect her assets, and all that. But as the family of John O'Keefe, if you truly believe that this is the person that caused the death of your loved one, then you don't want the perpetrator at all to profit from being involved in this. And so under the circumstances with the facts, if this were my sister, my brother, my dad, whoever that got killed, I would want I would want them to be held accountable if I believe that they were the ones that perpetrated, of course, criminally. But if that didn't work out the way it hasn't worked out here for them, then I would definitely not want her to be able to charge, $100,000 for a Netflix special or to profit off of a book that she's going to write or something to that effect. And I think that a judgment in a civil case could be constructed in such a way that it prevents her.
Says you can't talk about it.
I think that's why it's going to come that way. The jury's not going to write that up, and I think that's why it'll be resolved. I believe, and I agree with you in that kind of way. But the original question was, what's the difference? And like that goes back to my point. Like it's apples and oranges. I mean, even if it was a trial, like how you even think about to get to a trial is completely different. Yeah. And then if it is a trial, how you would present it, it would be unrecognizable on how all this is presented if it's a civil trial versus a criminal trial.
Yeah, it would be very different. That's true. And I think the defense would have to concede a lot.
Absolutely.
When it comes to.
Should we do an episode about it?
No, we'll just pass on that.
What's the next thing that we reviewed?
There we go. Next.
In 2025.
Great wrap up, Chase. We appreciate that.
My opinion, my prediction is that there will be some sort of settlement out of court because it's pretty clear that like what happened with O.J. Simpson, the other famous case where there was an acquittal when it comes to the criminal issue because of the lack of proof provided with the standard for criminal conduct beyond a reasonable doubt.
That one had a little stronger proof. Let's not even go down that road.
I don't know. It's pretty close.
I'm glad he brings it up because just this week I saw in the news that O.J. Simpson's estate just approved paying that wrongful death or whatever lawsuit. I don't know whether it was for the female Miss Brown or whether it was for Ronald Goldman. But one of those, the estate
just got paid now.
Just approved paying that wrongful death.
And I'd say that
claim.
brings in all, and this is too long to get into, but there's all kind of bankruptcy issues that you can have with different civil things. It's a whole different ballgame. Whole different ballgame.
Leave us
No.
It's a different ballgame.
The last thing you need to remember is a great quote from Martin Luther King, where he said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. While it might take a long time in order for a family to get some sort of justice, usually it works out within our system to where someone is taken care of, or at least get some form of payment or justice for whatever issue that has dropped. And so I think that the family of John O'Keefe will get some sort of, I guess, justice in this case, or what they feel like is justice under the circumstances, and everyone will move forward. So
Way to put a button on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's
Okay,
next?
okay.
Moving
All
on.
right. So moving on, we had another case. It was actually earlier in the year, so it's almost been.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's almost been a full year since it happened. But I think we're all pretty familiar with this one. If I'm remembering correctly, because we're going to run a clip of this too. I don't think Chase was there for this.
I was not.
And so, so we got to recap it a little
I
bit
bet you
for
can
him.
figure it out.
So
He's
I'm
a
gonna.
smart man.
We're gonna play. I'm actually gonna play.
Which case is it?
Let's see. It's the Dank Demoss rapper case.
Oh, Danky.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I was definitely not there for that.
And the first thing that I think of is, okay, so you had a one-on-one humiliating and embarrassing experience, and so then you posted it to the internet.
Yeah, and I agree. So, you can have a case, and if it gets picked up by the news or national publication, so be it. But if you were embarrassed, like this was brought to the attention of the news by her.
Yeah.
So that's different than, I mean, honestly, if I'm defending the case,
Okay.
then that I'm going to bring that out.
So Deja Blanding, aka rapper Dank Demoss, ordered a Lyft to a Detroit Lions watch party. The driver arrived, saw her, lock the doors, and refuse service. The driver said she was, quote, too big for his car. The tires couldn't handle the weight, and he suggested that she order an Uber XL. I'm going to put an extra note in here in that she didn't pay anything for this ride. He refunded,
Yeah.
Okay. The temperature was below 0, and he left her stranded. She was filming the entire encounter that you're about to watch and posted it to her TikTok, where it went viral. Who knows how many views it is now, but the 240,000 plus 240. Yeah, 240,000. I'm not good with numbers today. I'm getting my numbers all mixed up. There was a lawsuit filed in January 2025. The claims were because in Michigan, do you know this before I tell you? What is considered discrimination in Michigan? It's the only state where that's true.
I have no idea.
Weight. So
Really?
Protected class.
The only one.
It's a protected
The
class.
only state.
Yep. And so Michigan is one of the few states with those explicit weight discrimination protections. Lyft made the statement that they unequivocally condemn all forms of discrimination, and that driver was actually fired / deactivated, however that works with Lyft drivers.
They killed him.
And we'll talk about what happened recently with it after you watch the clip of what happened.
Listen, Mom, my car is small.
I can fit in this car.
But believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me. So, I'm sorry.
What am I doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in that in our episode, I think if I'm remembering correctly, she at the time was
It was
480.
Yeah, it was right under 500.
Right close to 500
Right.
pounds. So
All right. So one of the things that was important that was brought up was we talked a little bit about a protected class. Okay.
see, I wish you'd been in this episode. Now, like,
Yeah,
now you're like,
yeah,
all right, let me tell you
We
about
talked
it.
about the classes.
Typically, the time that this is discussed most is when you're discussing issues regarding the United States Constitution. And what the United States Constitution and the case law that has interpreted it, that basically pick out and distinguish is that there are certain classes of people that suffer discrimination, and usually it relates to their sexual orientation, it relates to their race, it relates to their gender, it relates to how old they are, and whether or not they're disabled. Those are usually pretty common protected classes. But in this particular case, it sounds like, I didn't know this, but Michigan has declared.
It's the only state.
Yes, the
that has
only
weight.
state that recognizes people that are overweight as being a class of people protected as a discriminated class. So,
Yep. And so just recently, I think this past summer, they actually, so it did not go to court. They settled out of court. The amount was
Which is
confidential.
not surprising.
Yeah, the amount was confidential. I think we may have predicted that on our episode too. The attorney, Zach Runyon, confirmed that it had been resolved, but he gave no details. And now there's some online claims that she actually has bought a van and has a personal chauffeur with the settlement money that she received.
Don't believe it.
And there's a post.
I don't either.
There's a post on Instagram where she gives a shout out to her new driver.
Yeah, it's
on October the 10th, so that's confirmed that she does.
She might just be flexing for the gram.
Yeah.
First of all, I did a lot of research, and she flexes a lot of things a lot, and I think she's trying to get TikTok famous.
I don't know if she flexes anything ever, but my point is that so we knew this was going to settle out of court because this is a ridiculous lawsuit.
I feel for the Uber driver.
And the reason it's confidential. So when we have
because it's probably $5,000.
That's what I'm saying. You'll get
or 15.
Generally,
hey, just for us to hire lawyers, it's going to cost us $15,000. Take this, you're going to lose. When
we have a case that we settle and it is confidential. 99.9% of the time, it's because it is a significant amount, and
whether it's lower or bigger.
No, it's just a significant amount of money, and the opposing side, whether it be a company or whatever, doesn't just want this out, and generally our clients have no problem. That's not a big deal. That's
or we make them pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want it, you've now agreed to pay this, and now you want confidentiality.
Right.
Well,
you got to pay for that.
Give us another $10,000, and we'll do it.
Right.
You know?
That is not uncommon, and it's not unheard of, and it's not unreasonable. I get it. All that. They the people who are paying don't want a windfall and all that stuff, and it to be in the news. And so, like Sean said, you got to pay for that too. If you don't want bad press, then you got to pay for it. But
if you were her attorney, you would want it in the news because it would benefit you from hey, we did this weight discrimination case. I'm not
going to say guarantee.
That's where I'm going. I'm not going to guarantee it. But that 99.9% of the time, the request comes from the defense side. I would be willing to bet a decent amount that the request for confidentiality came from the plaintiff's side this time. Because all that this is Dank wanted was to say that she won. Well, her win may be, like Sean said, it may be $200.
Some sort of moral thing.
And they wanted that confidential. It obviously didn't have any, it didn't have a leg to stand on for anything else. But I knew this would not go to a trial because that's going to end up in zero. The plaintiff attorney knew that he was going to lose this case. They took what's called go-away money, and they kept it confidential. And then she spent her own money because she didn't get anything from this and bought a van and said, hey, I won the lawsuit. And so more people in the world, and now more people in the world think that you can just sue and win big money when that's just not true.
Now, let's just think about this right now. Just to go back to the original video. What was that Uber or Lyft that we remember? Wasn't it like a small little Lexus?
Correct. It was a standard,
sedan.
And she should have ordered an XL.
And now she's buying or claiming that she bought a van
to take her around.
Why not buy that little
Camry that he was in?
With a Camry.
She could fit in it. She ain't got no problem.
About confidentiality, why do defendants want that? Because they don't necessarily want the press.
I don't want people coming after me for my money.
A precedent set where, let's just say, for instance, she were able to get
$1 million.
Yeah, she were able to get millions. Exactly.
$1 million.
Right. She got $1 million. The
only way y'all would know if I had a settlement that big is there would be more
all that
Disney
is
trips.
going to do.
Because it would have came through us.
We
would know.
All that's going to do is encourage other people in similar situations to bring further claims because of
that number.
Yeah, and the number is going to be that's what they lead with the headlines is going to be the number, and so that and there are a bunch of really valid claims against Lyft, like for instance, like back in 2020. There was a claim brought against Lyft for their failure to accommodate people that have disabilities.
Sure. Yep.
And they were actually forced by a federal court to actually develop a system for training their employees with regard to how to help disabled patients and to help people get into vehicles that are wheelchair bound, that type of thing. And that they couldn't really discriminate and decide, hey, we're not picking up people that are in this class. And so after 2020, they were forced to actually be able to provide services for those people. And there are a lot of good claims that come from the law that was created because of that.
Well, I just wonder in practical aspects how that works out. If, let's say that Dank Demoss is wheelchair bound.
Yeah.
She's a paraplegic. She has no use of her legs.
Sure.
And she weighs 400 something pounds. And she calls this same guy, this poor guy, and he goes to pick her up. And she's expecting, because she's 400 something pounds and a disabled person, that he's supposed to be able to pick her up and put her. That's what I'm saying. Some of it gets a little. Is there supposed to be? I've got to call another Uber or Lyft operator to come help me.
Well, I can explain that because
Thank you.
I have an actual case that involves this is a very specific thing. So, United Healthcare, partners with a company called Safe Ride Health LLC that actually schedules Lyft and Uber pickups for people that have to go to doctor's appointments to get them to their doctor's appointment that are actually disabled. And under those circumstances, they actually have to provide a vehicle that can carry the person and a person that is actually trained to be able to accommodate whatever needs that person has. And in that particular case, they would have to know from United Healthcare that person weighs 400 pounds plus, right? That person is.
But that's it's still something
can't
the
walk.
insurance.
My guess would be
Mm-hmm.
if you're a Lyft driver, though, say maybe like this. I guarantee you, not every single Lyft driver has the car
Well,
to
it's
table
not
to do
your
that.
general. Yeah,
So they wouldn't
can't
pick
be-
up that ride, right? Like that, it wouldn't even
Well,
show
that's
up
what
to
I mean.
a Lyft
They-
rider.
Well, that's up to Safe Ride Health
Right,
to
it can't be-
determine
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
who
like,
I
if
can
you're-
send to pick this person up.
Right, but if you're a Lyft driver, you get in your
Right.
car, you click on your
Which is going
app
to
or
end
whatever,
up,
and
which
you're
is
not
going
going
to
to
end
see
up
those
with
if you're not
people
capable of
that
doing
are
it.
in this disabled state not having access to
To
a
a
Lyft
doctor,
or an Uber.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And then
Because unless you've signed up for that, you're never going to get assigned that
and
type
then
of
we've
ride.
talked about it before.
Yeah.
That leads into: is this a subcontractor or is it the company? I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
legal
Oh, yeah.
avenues here. It's mind blowing.
I just
For
feel
sure.
bad for that guy who went to pick her up
I
because
do too.
he was
He
not
lost
rude
his
to her.
job.
He did not. It's not like he called her fat or anything.
No.
Very polite. He just said, "Ma'am,"
This ain't gonna work, man.
which
Yeah.
I would think that I don't know what the rules are with Uber or Lyft or what
Sure.
contract you signed to be an independent agent
Yeah.
or subcontractor to them, but.
he's just trying to make some
Sorry,
money.
ma'am.
Yeah.
This is my car, and I don't want you to get it
Yeah,
because of
I mean,
whatever reason.
he should have just, he should just
I
refused
felt,
her
you
service
know,
and
and we-
not said anything.
yeah.
I mean, you can refuse.
Well, we
right,
talked
you know
about
what I
it on
mean?
the
That he got himself in
original
trouble
one.
by what he said. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to break my
Well,
tires.
we talked about the original
Well-
one, and I don't think it's a coincidence that this happened and this,
Yeah.
Dank Demoss is in other areas wanting to be a rapper, that it happened where it did because
So
it's
why are
one
you
of the
taking
few
videos when
states
your Uber's coming up?
that this comes up. So,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
think it's a coincidence that it settled out of court. I don't think it's a coincidence that
Speculation
it
alert.
is covered up and you can't know the number. I don't think any of that is clout chasing. What is the new term? Aura farming.
Or farming.
So
yeah.
I think we're aura farming a
What
little
is that?
bit.
I don't know.
Well, Dank will tell you because that's what she's been doing
Well,
through her
Yeah,
lawsuit
and
and using her
When
courts.
this
And that's the
came
thing
out-
y'all all know that gets me aggravated about all this celebrity crap. And this is using the court system for not what it's supposed to be used for. Using the court system
Yep.
for aura farming, clout chasing, or fighting with some celebrity nonsense.
And when this
Don't
came
like
out
it.
was some time ago, and I think Lindsay said that she was a up and coming or wannabe rapper or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know which of the awards go to singers, but where there's Emmys,
Grammys.
Oscars, Grammys, Tonys,
Grammys.
I don't know what those are.
MTV Music
got-
Awards.
I don't think that she has been nominated or received any of those awards yet.
Well, it's discrimination.
No. She has not. So we're gonna pause.
Yeah, I'm trying to look
and we'll
up
be
what
back
aura
for
farming
part
is.
2 to finish up our year in
I'll
review.
take you to that.
So make sure you subscribe and like our channel and turn on notifications so you can be notified when part 2 comes out.